All right, go ahead, stand up for the judge, please. Stand up for the judge.
Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. Hey, thanks. Okay, good morning, everybody. My name is Commissioner Hughes. This is the 8 a.m. initial appearance calendar for Thursday, February 20th. The court's orders for the taking of DNA samples and fingerprints issued on the first calendar of this month will apply to the hearings on this calendar. As we get started in here this morning, I will call each of you into the courtroom. I'll ask one of you to stand behind this gray podium here in front of me in the courtroom. I'll ask the next person I intend to call into the courtroom to have a seat in the blue or green chair right inside this door facing all of you. So that's how we'll cycle through this calendar. The first time I call your name, I'll ask you to move from the chair you're in right now to one of those chairs inside the door. Second time I call your name, I'll ask you to move from that chair into the courtroom. Once you're in the courtroom and you're behind the podium, I will start by asking you to state your full name and date of birth. I will then tell you what the allegations against you are or explain to you why you're here this morning. Then I will tell you whether you qualify for a court-appointed lawyer, sometimes called a public defender. If you do not qualify for a public defender, you have the right to hire a lawyer at your own expense to represent you in any criminal proceedings. After we talk about whether or not you're entitled to a public defender, I will give you the next court hearing dates and times that you'll be required to attend after this court hearing. And the last thing we'll do when you're in the courtroom is talk about whether you are legally eligible for release from custody. If you are, we will go over what the terms and conditions of your release will be. In addition to that right to the assistance of counsel in a criminal case, you all also have the right to remain silent. These are recorded criminal proceedings. That means anything that you do choose to say in the courtroom this morning will be preserved on the recording and can be used against you at any point down the line. Whether or not you qualify for a court-appointed lawyer, there will not be a lawyer in the courtroom this morning for purposes of your defense. Because you won't have a lawyer representing you in here this morning, and because anything you say could be used against you, I will strongly caution all of you not to make any statements regarding the facts about why you're here. Last thing I'll tell you all before we get started is that all of the information that I give you while you're in the courtroom will be contained in a written document called a release order. You will get a copy of that document when you're done in the courtroom and you step back into the room that you're in right now. So please don't feel like you need to memorize the information we're going through as you're in the courtroom, but do please keep that paperwork that you get with you wherever you go from here this morning, because in that paperwork, you'll still have all the information that you got while you were in the courtroom. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Can I please have Ray Avalos Mendoza all the way into the courtroom behind the gray podium, please? Socorro Lopez, if you would work your way to one of the chairs right inside the door. Good morning, sir. Can I have your name and date of birth, please?
Ray Javier Avalos Mendoza, January 6th of 2001.
Thank you very much, Mr. Avalos Mendoza. You are here on two different matters. The first matter that you're here on is allegations of new charges. Those allegations are one count of narcotic drug possession for sale, one count of narcotic drug possession for sale, 2 counts of narcotic drug possession for transportation or sale. Those are all Class 2 felonies. 1 count of conspiracy, a Class 3 felony, 1 count of narcotic drug possession, 1 count of use of an electronic communication device in a drug transaction, 2 counts of aggravated assault on first responders. Those 4 counts are all Class 4 felonies. 1 count of causing criminal damage, a Class 5 felony, and 1 count of drug paraphernalia possession, a Class 6 felony. On those new offenses, I have found probable cause to support all of them with the exception of the conspiracy allegation and 1 of the 2 counts of narcotic drug possession for transportation or sale. So on 1 of those transportation or sale and the conspiracy allegations, I did not find probable cause. The remaining allegations I did. I have determined you're entitled to a court-appointed lawyer. I've appointed one to defend you. Your next court hearings on these new allegations will be a status conference February 26th and then a preliminary hearing the 28th. Both of those hearings will be at 8:30 in the morning in the Superior Court downtown. On those new allegations that I did find probable cause to support, I have imposed a $25,000 cash-only bond. The second matter that you're here on is an allegation that the new charges supported by probable cause are a violation of Term 1 of your probation. I've also appointed a lawyer to represent you in that probation case. Your next hearing in that matter will be a revocation arraignment hearing February 27th. That one's also at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. On that probation allegation, you are not eligible for release on bond. That means you're going to stay in custody without bond at least until you see the probation judge on the 27th. Because of that, I encourage you not yet to try to post a bond on those new charges. I encourage you to wait until after you see the probation judge. If you become bond eligible at that probation hearing on the 27th, then you could look at posting the bond on the new charges to be eligible for release on both.
Okay.
Do you understand that information?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Avalos Mendoza. You can step back and get your paperwork.
Thank you.
Socorro Lopez to the podium in the courtroom, please. Damon Hill, if you would please work your way to the chair inside the door. Can I have your name and date of birth, please?
Socorro Lopez, August 9th, 1989.
Thank you, Ms. Lopez. You are here on an allegation of a new charge. That allegation is one count of robbery. It is a Class 4 felony. I have appointed a lawyer to defend you against that allegation. Your next court hearings will be a status conference February 26th and then a preliminary hearing February 28th. They will both be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. On that allegation, I have imposed a $25,000 secured appearance bond. Secured appearance means that you can use a bonding company to post that bond if you choose to. If you do post that bond and you're released from custody, you cannot return to the scene where the alleged robbery took place. You cannot have contact with alleged victims, witnesses, or co-defendants, and you cannot possess any weapons or any drugs without a valid prescription if you're released from custody. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes. How much is my bond again?
$25,000 secured appearance.
So, okay.
Do you have questions about that?
Yeah. Is it like, does that be like cash only or how?
It's not cash only. It's a secured appearance bond. So you can go through a bonding company. If you want to explore going through a bonding company, back in the jail, when you get back into the facility, there's a list of bonding companies and their phone numbers posted in various different places. Or you can ask any of the officers to give you a list, and you can use any of the phones. You could call one, two, or all of those bonding companies to see what their specific requirements might be.
I can't get my bond a little bit lower only because of the fact that my mom and my dad right now, they're depending on me to take care of them, and it's just hectic right now at the house right now. And I am the only one that caregiver of my father and my mother right now and my kids. And right now it's like I don't have nobody. We don't have nobody but me.
So here's what I'll tell you. I received a written recommendation from the county attorney's office on this case. Their recommendation was that I impose a $50,000 secured appearance bond. So to the extent that you're asking for a reduction, I've already reduced the requested amount by half. So the bond amount, I'm not going to lower it below that $25,000, but if you go through a bonding company, you might be able to pay less than that out of pocket if you find one that will work with your circumstances. So I encourage you to try to reach out to some bonding companies. My understanding is all the companies on that list are open 24/7. So if you want to make some calls as soon as you get back there, you should be able to get a hold of one, two, or several bonding companies to see what they might be able to do to help you out.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Lopez. You can step back and get your paperwork. Damon Hill to the podium in the courtroom, please. Jordan Stylianu to the chair. Will you pull your arms out while you're walking up, please, Mr. Hill? Thank you very much. Can I have your name and date of birth?
Damon Hill, age 2590.
Thank you, Mr. Hill. You are here on 3 different matters. The first one is allegations of new charges. Those allegations are 1 count of possession of a weapon by a prohibited person, 1 count of narcotic drug possession. Those are both Class 4 felonies. 1 count of possession or use of a weapon in a drug offense alleged to be a Class 5 felony, and 1 count of drug paraphernalia possession, a Class 6 felony. I have found probable cause to support those allegations, and I've appointed a lawyer to defend you. Your next court hearings on the new charges will be a status conference February 26th and then a preliminary hearing the 28th. They will both be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. On those new allegations, I've imposed a $15,000 secured appearance bond. The other two matters you're here on are both failure to appear warrants, both misdemeanor allegations involving driving on a suspended license, but issued by two different courts. The first one is from the El Centro Justice Court. The second is from the East Mesa Justice Court. On both of those misdemeanor warrants, you are entitled to a court-appointed lawyer for purposes of release conditions, and I've appointed one for you in both cases. Your next court hearing on the two misdemeanor warrants will be an arraignment hearing February 25th at 8:30. And on both of those misdemeanor warrants, you have a $50 secured appearance bond. So for all three cases, your bond will be $15,100. It is all secured appearance. If you post that and you're released from custody, you cannot possess any weapons or drugs without a valid prescription. And if you don't have a valid driver's license, you can't operate a motor vehicle. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hill. You can step back and get your paperwork. Jordan Stylianu to the podium in the courtroom, please. Dennis Harris to the chair. Can I have your name and date of birth, please?
Jordan Stylianu. 10/16/2003.
Thank you very much. You are here on an allegation of a new charge. That allegation is one count of aggravated assault on a first responder. It is a Class 4 felony. I have found probable cause to support that allegation and appointed a lawyer to defend you. Your next court hearings will be a status conference February 26th and then a preliminary hearing the 28th. They will both be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. And on this allegation, I have imposed a $10,000 secured appearance bond. If you post that and you're released from custody, you cannot go back to the scene where the underlying alleged events took place, where you were arrested. You also cannot have contact with the arresting law enforcement officers, and you cannot possess any weapons or drugs without a valid prescription if you're released. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. You can step back and get your paperwork. Dennis Harris to the podium in the courtroom, please. Jeffrey Powell, if you would work your way to the chair. Good morning. Can I please have your name and date of birth?
My name is Dennis Harris. My date of birth is 8/22/1981.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. You are here on a probation violation warrant.
Yes, ma'am.
A petition to revoke your probation was filed. It alleges that you have violated terms 3, 4, 5, 6, and 15 of your probation. I have appointed a lawyer to represent you in that probation case. Your next court hearing will be a revocation arraignment. It will take place February 27th. It'll be in the probation court downtown. And on that warrant, you have a $5,000 secured appearance bond. If you post that and you're released from custody, you cannot possess any weapons or any drugs without a valid prescription. Do you understand those conditions?
I'm not getting released today?
Not unless you post that bond.
How much is the bond?
The bond is $5,000 secured appearance. So you can use a bonding company to get that posted.
$5,000?
Yes.
It's not $500?
Well, you might be in a situation where you pay $500 if you go through a bonding company, but those terms would be between you and the bonding company. The bond to the court is $5,000. So if you want to pay less than that, I encourage you to contact some bonding companies to see what their requirements might be.
How do I do that?
Back in the jail, there's a list of bonding companies and their phone numbers. So once you get back into the facility, either find one posted on a wall somewhere or ask any of the officers to either point one out to you or give you a copy of one. And then you can use any phone back there to start calling them.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, sir. Go ahead and sit back and get your paperwork.
So I'm in custody.
You're in custody now, yeah. Yeah. Okay, Jeffrey Powell to the podium in the courtroom, please. Ezekiel Diaz to the chair. Good morning. Can I have your name and date of birth, please?
Jeffrey Powell, December 16, 68, sorry.
Thank you very much, Mr. Powell. Okay, you're here on a warrant issued by the Peoria Municipal Court on misdemeanor threatening and intimidating and disorderly conduct allegations. If you don't already have a lawyer representing you in that case, you're entitled to one leaving this court at a minimum for purposes of release conditions. Again, if you don't already have one, whether it's appointed or hired, a lawyer will be appointed for you at your next court hearing. That hearing is going to be an arraignment hearing, February 25th. It'll be at 9 o'clock in the morning in the Peoria Municipal Court. And on that warrant, you have a $1,200 secured appearance bond. If you post that and you're released from custody, in addition to getting to that next court hearing, you cannot have contact with alleged victims or witnesses of the underlying allegations, if there are any. You also cannot possess any weapons, and you cannot possess or consume any alcohol or drugs without a valid prescription if you're released. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Powell. You can step back and get your paperwork. Ezekiel Diaz, to the podium in the courtroom, please. Michael Sanchez, if you would please work your way to the chair. Will you pull your arms out and take your hood down, please, Mr. Diaz? Thank you very much. Can I have your name and date of birth, please?
Ezekiel Diaz, 12/2/1982.
Thank you, Mr. Diaz. You are here on a probation violation warrant. A petition to revoke your probation was filed. It alleges that you have violated terms 3 and 5. I have appointed a lawyer to represent you in the probation proceedings. Your next court hearing will be a revocation arraignment, February 27th. It'll be at 8:30 in the morning in the probation court downtown. And on that warrant, you have a $750 secured appearance bond. If you post that and you're released, you cannot possess any weapons or any drugs without a valid prescription. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Diaz. You can step back and get your paperwork. Michael Sanchez, to the podium in the courtroom, please. Hunter Ware, if you'd please work your way to the chair. Good morning. May I please have your name and date of birth?
Michael Anthony Sanchez, 2/23/88.
Thank you, Mr. Sanchez. You are here on a bench warrant issued by the Superior Court when you failed to appear at a status conference in an existing felony drug case. You have a lawyer already assigned to you in that case. That lawyer will continue to defend you.
Thank you.
Your next court hearing will be a new status conference on February 26th at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. That'll be followed by a preliminary hearing the 28th, also at 8:30. On that warrant, you have a $500 secured appearance bond. If you post it and you are released, in addition to getting yourself to your next court hearings, you're ordered not to possess any drugs without a valid prescription.
Okay.
Do you understand those conditions?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Sanchez. You can step back and get your paperwork.
So I'm not being released or nothing?
Not unless you post the bond.
Okay.
Hunter Ware, to the podium in the courtroom, please. Joseph Gomez, to the chair. Good morning. Can I please have your name and date of birth?
Hunter Brogan Ware, 12/11/2001.
Thank you, Mr. Ware. You are here on 2 bench warrants, both issued by the probation court when you failed to appear at revocation arraignment hearings in 2 different probation cases. In both of those cases, you already have a lawyer assigned to you. That lawyer will continue to represent you. Your next court hearing in both of these cases will be a revocation arraignment, February 27th at 8:30 in the probation court downtown. And on each of these 2 warrants, you have a $500 secured appearance bond. So your total bond will be $1,000. It is all secured appearance. If you post that and you're released, you cannot possess any weapons or any drugs without a valid prescription. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ware. You can step back and get your paperwork. Joseph Gomez, to the podium in the courtroom, please. Daniel Molina, if you would please work your way to the chair.
How you doing today, Jess?
Good. Can I have your name and date of birth, please, sir?
Joseph Gomez, 12/21/1989.
Thank you, Mr. Gomez. You are here this morning on an arrest warrant issued after a direct complaint was filed. A direct complaint is a written document that alleges a new allegation against you. The allegation in that direct complaint is 1 count of possession of a weapon by a prohibited person. It is a Class 4 felony alleged to have been committed March 5th of 2023. I have appointed a lawyer to defend you against that allegation. Your next court hearings will be a status conference February 26th and then a preliminary hearing the 28th. They will both be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. And on that warrant, you have a $500 secured appearance bond.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Say what again?
The 2 dates?
February 26th, a status conference, and then February 28th, a preliminary hearing, both of them at 8:30 in the morning in the Superior Court downtown. In your release paperwork, you'll have those dates, the times, the address, and the phone number to the court.
And you said it was on a bench warrant?
It's an arrest warrant.
Arrest warrant?
Mhm.
When was that arrest warrant issued?
The arrest warrant was issued June 21st of 2023. The underlying allegation, the conduct alleged to have violated criminal statutes occurred March 5th of 2023.
Okay, because I had got arrested downtown Tempe, and they had given me a form with the number to call, and I called the number, but it never gave me a court date. So I was thinking that I was good to go because they said that to call that number and get a court date, and they.
So it's possible. I don't know exactly how this could have happened.
I was just confused, Your Honor.
Tempe might have been giving you the phone number to the Tempe Municipal Court, and charges were filed in the Superior Court, so maybe that was the disconnect. Also, it's possible that these are the allegations you were arrested on, you were released, and then the county attorney's office didn't charge until now, or until the 23rd.
Yeah, I had no aware of it, so that's
and that's how, typically that's how this works. So people will come in and say, I didn't know about this, but that's the purpose of this hearing, is to make you aware that an arrest warrant was issued and that new charges were filed. So it is not uncommon for people in your situation to say, I didn't know about this, because that's what this process is designed for.
Okay, because I was going to say it's 2025. And
yeah, the warrant's been active for about
and they had my
2.5 years.
I just didn't get it because they had my address, so I was.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's possible that they tried to issue a summons and had a bad address. It's possible that they just went straight to an arrest warrant. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm confused, and just like I'm confused, Your Honor. So when they
don't be confused. So here's the situation. Regardless of how you got here, what's happening now is a new charge has been filed against you. I've given you a lawyer, and you'll have court dates. So. If you're curious about the procedural history up to this point, you can talk to your lawyer about that. Your lawyer can look into whether something was mailed, if the address was wrong, or if as soon as the charge was filed, the court just went to an arrest warrant and it took this long to arrest you. So your lawyer can look into that.
I work every day, so you know what I mean? So I'm confused.
Well, again, don't be confused. So it doesn't really matter how or why you got here. You're here now. So don't worry about what happened or didn't happen in the past. Just know now a new charge has been filed against you. I've given you a lawyer to defend you against that allegation. You have to go to court on the 26th and the 28th.
Right.
And in order to get out of custody today, you'll have to post a $500 bond. It's secured appearance. Okay. You can use a bonding company. But if you post that bond and you get out of custody, you still have to go to court.
Right.
And you can't have any weapons on you if you're released from custody.
Right.
Okay, and if you're curious about how you got here, you can talk to your lawyer, but from the beginning of this case to now, that none of that really matters anymore, because the purpose is to get you before a judge and get this case going forward.
Yeah, and I'll be able to talk to whatever judge I'm in front of. I'll be able to talk to them and let them know where I'm coming from, so they can see where I come from.
So the judge that you see on the 26th will be the judge that you will see on the underlying facts in this case, and at that hearing, you'll also have a lawyer present. So what I encourage you to do is talk to your lawyer, tell your lawyer where you're coming from, give your lawyer all of those facts, and your lawyer can determine what's appropriate to present to the court.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead and step back and get your paperwork. Daniel Molina to the podium in the courtroom, please. Habib Stola to the chair. Can I have your name and date of birth, please, sir?
Daniel Molina, April 29, 2000.
Thank you, Mr. Molina. You are here on two different matters. The first matter you're here on is allegations of new charges. Those allegations are one count of dangerous drug possession, it's a Class 4 felony, and one count of drug paraphernalia possession, a Class 6 felony. I have found probable cause to support the drug paraphernalia possession allegation. I have not found probable cause to support the dangerous drug allegation. I have appointed a lawyer to represent you. Your next court hearings will be a status conference February 26th and then a preliminary hearing the 28th. They'll both be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. On that paraphernalia possession allegation, I've imposed a $50 secured appearance bond. The second matter that you're here on is an allegation that paraphernalia allegation violated Term 1 of your probation. In the probation case, I've also appointed a lawyer to defend you. Your next hearing in that case will be a revocation arraignment February 27th at 8:30 in the probation court downtown. And on the probation matter, you have a $250 secured appearance bond. So your total bond for both cases will be $300. It is all secured appearance. If you post that and you're released, you cannot possess any weapons or any drugs without a valid prescription. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Molina. You can step back and get your paperwork. Habib Stola to the podium in the courtroom, please. Holly Sorensen, if you would please work your way to the chair. Can I have your name and date of birth, please, sir?
Habib Stola, August 31st, 1986.
Thank you, Mr. Stola. You are here on a probation violation warrant. A petition to revoke your probation was filed. It alleges that you have violated terms 3 and 5 of your probation. I have appointed a lawyer to represent you. Your next court hearing will be a revocation arraignment February 27th. It'll be at 8:30 in the probation court downtown. On that warrant, you have a $100 secured appearance bond. If you post that and you are released from custody, you cannot possess any weapons or any drugs without a valid prescription. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Stola. If you'll work your way back to your left, we'll get you your paperwork. Holly Sorensen to the podium in the courtroom, please. Kelly Smith, if you would please work your way to the chair. Good morning. Can I have your name and date of birth, please?
Holly Sorensen, March 7, 1991.
Thank you, Ms. Sorensen. You are here on 2 different matters. The first matter that you're here on is an arrest warrant issued after a direct complaint was filed. That direct complaint is a written document that alleges new allegations against you. The allegations in that direct complaint are 1 count of narcotic drug possession, a Class 4 felony, and 1 count of drug paraphernalia possession, a Class 6 felony. Both of those offenses are alleged to have been committed January 2nd of 2024. I have appointed a lawyer to defend you against the allegations in that direct complaint. Your next court hearings will be a status conference February 26th and then a preliminary hearing the 28th. They will both be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. On that direct complaint, you have a $100 secured appearance bond. The second matter that you're here on is a probation violation warrant. In that case, a petition to revoke your probation was filed and alleges that you have violated terms 3 and 5 of your probation. I've also appointed a lawyer to represent you in that probation case. Your next hearing in the probation matter will be a revocation arraignment February 27th, that one also at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. On the probation matter, you have you also have a $100 secured appearance bond. So your total bond for both of these matters will be $200. It is all secured appearance. If you post that and you are released, you cannot possess any weapons or any drugs without a valid prescription. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes, ma'am, but I had MRSA. They kept kicking me out of ITR.
Okay.
That's why.
Well, if you don't post that bond, you won't stay at ITR. You'll get transferred to a more permanent facility. So whether it's here or there, if you need medical attention or whether or not you need medical attention, I would notify jail staff wherever you end up of that so that if you need medical attention, they can make sure that you're seen by medical.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Sorensen. You can step back and get your paperwork. Kelly Smith to the podium in the courtroom, please. Terry Bach to the chair.
Your Honor, they didn't feed me this morning.
All right, come on up to the podium. Can I have your name and date of birth?
Can I eat?
Can I have your name and date of birth?
Kelly Christine Smith.
And your date of birth?
October 4th, 1975.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Smith.
I haven't had no breakfast.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
listen, I'm not in charge of food, jail staff. I don't know where you came from. I don't know where you're being housed. So
Okay.
I don't have the authority to order jail staff to do anything.
Okay.
If you ask them politely here in ITR, they might give you something.
Okay.
But if you're going to go back to where you're housed, they might be waiting to feed you there. So I don't know how all that works, but you can talk to jail staff. I don't have any control over that, though.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Smith, you are here on a warrant issued by the Goodyear Municipal Court. It is on an underlying misdemeanor shoplifting allegation. Because the underlying allegation in that case is a misdemeanor allegation, the nature of that charge does not entitle you to a court-appointed lawyer. So what that means is I can't appoint a lawyer to represent you in that case, but you still have the right to hire a lawyer if you wish to be represented. Your next court hearing on that warrant will be an arraignment hearing March 12th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon in the Goodyear Municipal Court. I am releasing you on your own recognizance on this warrant. So on this particular warrant, you are eligible for release from custody. That means it will be your responsibility to get yourself to the Goodyear Court on March 12th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Do you understand that information?
I'm sorry, ma'am, that you guys had to put a warrant out for me, but I was in jail. And I
Okay,
told
it
the
was
j-
Goodyear, so it's the Goodyear
I told
court
the
that
jail
did that.
too. I told
Yeah.
Estrella I have prior charges, and it
Yeah,
didn't mean
so-
anything.
Do you anticipate that you will still be in custody on March 12th, or do you think that you'll be out and can get yourself to that hearing?
Oh, I would love to be released, Your Honor, but the courts find me, not the courts, but the attorney that I had, Erica Galado, she had told the judge to put me on Rule 11. So one psychiatrist found me competent, the other one found me not.
So
I
you think that
have
you'll
nothing.
still be in custody on the 12th?
I have nothing, Your Honor,
Well,
until
because
I'm competent.
Here's the deal. If I release you on this and you're still in custody, you're not going to be transported because that hearing's not going to go into the MCSO system, so you will pick up a new warrant on the 12th. So I could put a small bond on this case, which will ensure that you're transported to the court hearing and you don't pick up new warrants. But if you think you're going to be out of custody and can get yourself to that hearing, I won't do that.
I would prefer you not to put a bond.
Okay. So here's the deal.
Already on.
So I'll release you on this. That's going to make your next hearing March 12th. If you find that you're still in custody on the 12th, I encourage you to use the phone number in your paperwork to call the court and let them know you're in custody and try and get this hearing rescheduled. Or talk to your lawyer and let your lawyer know you have this court hearing, because this court hearing is not going to go into the MCSO system without a bond.
Okay.
So once you walk out of this room, it's going to be your responsibility to either get that hearing rescheduled if you can't make it, or get yourself to court on the 12th.
Okay.
Okay, you understand that information?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Smith. You can step back and get your paperwork.
Thank you.
Terry Bach to the podium in the courtroom, please. Bruce Van Huss to the chair. Will you take your hood down while you're walking to the podium, please, sir? Thank you so much. Can I have your name and date of birth?
Jerry Braxton Bass, January 21st, 1995.
Okay, it's pronounced Baksh.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Baksh. You are here on an failure to comply with court terms warrant issued by the Peoria Municipal Court on an underlying misdemeanor assault allegation. Because the underlying allegation in that matter is a misdemeanor and it is post-adjudication, you're not entitled to a court-appointed lawyer. If you don't already have a lawyer working with you in that case, but you want one, you do have the right to hire a lawyer to continue to represent you.
Oh, ma'am, I've been in prison the whole time. How can I have 2 warrants out for my arrest when I did time for charges I've been...
Well, I'm only seeing you on 1 warrant, and it looks like the warrant was issued on January 4th of 2024, and I don't know what the underlying condition that is alleged to have been violated was, but it is a failure to comply with court terms warrant. So it could be that you didn't pay a fine, you didn't take a class, you didn't register a certificate of completion, something with the court. So I don't know what that is, but you'll have to go to the Peoria court to get that squared away. Your hearing and your opportunity to do that will be March 11th at 9 o'clock in the morning. So on March 11th at 9 o'clock in the morning, go to the Peoria Municipal Court. The Peoria judge can tell you what the underlying obligation is that that court says wasn't complied with. You can get this case back on track. I am going to release you on your own recognizance, so you're not going to have to post a bond. You're eligible for release from custody. But make sure you get yourself to Peoria March 11th at 9 o'clock so that you can figure out with the Peoria judge whatever is going on in this case and hopefully get it back on track, and then you won't have any more warrants.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? All right, thank you, sir. You can step back and get your paperwork. Bruce Van Huss to the podium in the courtroom, please. Alonzo Delgado, if you would please work your way to the chair inside the door. Good morning, sir. May I please have your name and date of birth?
Bruce Van Huss, 08, that's Bruce Van Huss, 5/15/60.
Thank you, Mr. Van Huss. You are here on an allegation of a new charge. The allegation against you is 1 count of dangerous drug possession. It is a class 4 felony. I have found probable cause to support that allegation, and I've appointed a lawyer to defend you. Your next court hearings will be a status conference March 6th and then a preliminary hearing March 10th. They will both be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. I am releasing you on your own recognizance on this allegation, so you will be released from custody. You do not need to post a bond. Once you are out of custody, though, you are ordered to attend those 2 court hearings You can't go back to the scene where you were arrested, and you cannot possess any drugs without a valid prescription once you're out. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Van Hess. You can step back and get your paperwork. Yes.
I will be released today then, right?
Yes, yes, you will be.
Okay,
All right,
you.
thank you, sir. Okay, Alonzo Delgado to the podium in the courtroom, please. Good morning, sir. Can I have your name and date of birth?
Alonzo Delgado, 11/23 of 99.
Thank you, Mr. Delgado. You are here on two different matters. The first matter that you're here on is a warrant issued by the El Mirage Municipal Court. It looks like it's on a misdemeanor driving on a suspended license allegation. On that warrant, you are entitled to a court-appointed lawyer for purposes of release conditions. That lawyer will be appointed for you by the El Mirage judge at your next court hearing. Your next hearing on that warrant will be February 25th at 8 o'clock in the morning in the El Mirage Municipal Court. And on that warrant, you have a $500 secured appearance bond. The second matter that you're here on is a felony failure to appear warrant issued by the state of New Mexico. On that New Mexico warrant, because it is an out-of-state warrant, I'm going to ask you to make a choice between one of two options. So before, a little bit of background, before you were put on a calendar on that New Mexico warrant, Arizona court staff confirmed with New Mexico court staff it is a valid warrant, and New Mexico has indicated that they are willing to extradite you, which means New Mexico authorities want to come to Arizona and take you back to New Mexico. Before you came into the courtroom, did you get that big laminated card to review?
Yes.
Outstanding. Did you read through that?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to do my best to recap what the two options on that card are. So I'm going to go through them. I will try as best I can to explain to you what your two choices are. I will then give you an opportunity to ask any questions that you might have about those options. And then I'm going to ask you which one you pick at the end of the hearing. Okay. So, like I said, you're going to have a choice between two different options on this New Mexico warrant. Your first choice is to waive your right to an extradition hearing here in Arizona and agree to go back to New Mexico. If you pick that option, you're not waiving any rights or defenses that you have in the underlying criminal case in New Mexico. You are only waiving your right to an extradition hearing here in Arizona, and you're in essence saying New Mexico can come get me. If you do that, you will be held in custody here in Maricopa County for up to 30 days without bond to allow New Mexico an opportunity to come get you. The slight catch in that first option is that 30-day time period will not start ticking until this El Mirage matter is resolved. So if you pick option one, you're agreeing New Mexico can come get you. You'll have to resolve that El Mirage warrant and whatever the issue is in that case, and then wait 30 days for New Mexico to come get you. No bond on the New Mexico warrant that whole time. If you don't like that option, the second option you can choose is to demand an extradition hearing held be here in Arizona and demand that warrants are signed by the governors of Arizona and New Mexico before you're taken back to New Mexico. If you pick that second option, I will set an extradition hearing for March 3rd at 1:30. It will take place here, well, it'll take place in the Superior Court downtown, not here at this facility, but here in Maricopa County. On the New Mexico warrant, if you pick option two, you are bond eligible. So your bond on the New Mexico warrant would be a $30,000 secured appearance bond that's set by the New Mexico judge. So if you pick option two on the New Mexico warrant, you will have a total bond of $30,500. It would all be secured appearance, which means you could use a bonding company to post it. If you posted that bond, you would be released from custody, required to get yourself to not only the extradition proceedings, but also that hearing in El Mirage. And you would also be ordered to comply with any conditions imposed by the El Mirage court or the Superior Court throughout the extradition proceedings. Extradition proceedings in Arizona are considered civil, not criminal. The reason I tell you that is I want you to know the court could not appoint a lawyer to represent you if you picked option two and had that extradition hearing. You do still have the right, though, to hire a lawyer if you pick option two and you wish to be represented in those extradition proceedings. If you pick option two, the bond that you're entitled to will stay in place for a period of up to 90 days, which is the time period that it could take to get governor's warrants secured from both states. So hopefully, brief recap of option 2 is you don't waive your right to an extradition hearing. I set a hearing for March 3rd at 1:30. You are bond eligible on that New Mexico warrant, and that bond imposed would stay in place for up to 90 days while the extradition proceedings are taking place. Do you understand the 2 different options that you have?
Kind of. I do got some questions.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so if I waive not go to New Mexico, then I have to have the court date.
Did you say if you waive or if
yeah,
you
like
wait?
if I was to say I don't want to go to Mexico.
If you say I don't agree to go back to New Mexico, then I would set that hearing. I would say you're not waiving your right to extradition. I would set that hearing and I would impose that $30,000 bond.
But pose it, what would that be? I would have no bond.
If you pick option 2, impose. I said I would impose. I would order that you have to pay that $30,000 bond to be out of custody.
Cash or secured?
It's secured appearance.
And then what would happen with the New Mexico warrant? I would still,
if
while
you
I'm
pick
on
option
bond,
2?
yeah, while I'm on bond, if I was to bond out.
So the New Mexico warrant stays active until you go back to New Mexico and handle it. So if you pick option 2 and you post your bond, you would be required to stay here in Arizona while you're going through the extradition proceedings. If at the end of those extradition proceedings, warrants are signed by the governors of Arizona and New Mexico, that's what would authorize New Mexico to come to Arizona and authorize Arizona to release you to New Mexico, and they would take you back.
And that would take 90 days?
It could take up to 90 days.
Okay. Well, I would like to get bonded out. I got 4 little girls out there, you know. I was working in Mesa doing electrical when I got pulled over. I understand about the warrant in New Mexico. I was 18 when I committed the crime, and I tried to tell the judge, I'm not from out here. I'm from Arizona. I don't got no family. And I tried to talk to my attorney that the court appointed me. He's like, hey.
In New Mexico?
Yeah, and he's like, wait till you get on your probation. And he's like, then ask them to transfer it. Then I got on probation. I said, hey, you know, can I transfer to Arizona? I said, no. You should have done that before you signed. So it's just a hassle over there.
Yeah.
But I do want to get it taken care of. I'm 25. You know, I'm tired of looking over my shoulder. So if I could get a bond, you know.
Okay, so that's what we'll do then. I will give you that bond, so you'll have the $30,000 bond on the New Mexico warrant. I'll set the extradition hearing for March 3rd at 1:30. Please keep in mind, Mr. Delgado, if you post this bond and you get released from custody, you can't go back to New Mexico.
Yeah.
You have to stay in Arizona. So
Yeah.
sometimes people say, fine, I'll just post this bond and I'll go take care of this.
So
Don't
turn
do
yourself
that.
in.
Yeah, stay here.
Okay.
Stay here, go to all of your extradition proceedings, but nothing stops you from, if you have a lawyer in New Mexico or want to hire a lawyer in New Mexico, nothing stops you from, while you're here, calling and trying to get this resolved in New Mexico.
No,
if you could work it out from here, that would be great.
Yeah.
If you don't work it out and you're extradited, then I know that's probably worst case scenario, but at least then you're back in New Mexico, you can get it taken care of, explain to them that you live and work and reside in Arizona, and hopefully they can work something out with you so that you can stay here, provide for your family, and still work on that New Mexico case.
Yeah, because like I said, out there, dirt poor money. You don't make much. You know, out here is better opportunities. So
Good.
I would like to, like I said, I just wanted my stuff transferred out here so I could be able to afford to pay off my restitution and all that. You know?
Sure, yeah. And unfortunately, as we sit here right now, it's the New Mexico court. The New Mexico court's the only court that has the authority to authorize Arizona to supervise you in New Mexico or for New Mexico stuff.
Oh, okay.
So that is a valid request, but it's one you'll have to make to New Mexico and work out with New Mexico.
Yeah.
I don't have the authority to order New Mexico to require that their staff or our staff supervise you for their crimes.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, so that's what we'll do. You'll have a $30,500 secured appearance bond. You can use a bonding company, so when you get back in the jail, if you want to, you can start calling them. You can call friends and family and see if they can work that out for you. Jail staff is very good about how to get bonds posted, so if you have questions when you get back there about how to get that posted, you can talk to them. They'll help you work that out.
All right, thank you.
Okay, any final questions before I excuse you?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you,
You answered
Mr.
all my
Delgado.
questions. Thank
Sure.
you.
Thank you very much. Go ahead and step back to your paperwork. You can leave that right there. We'll print your paperwork and bring it out to you here in just 1 second.
All right.
All right, thank you, sir. Number 2 on the calendar, Shannon Raymond, date of birth 9/26/71, is not in the courtroom because she was unable to function in general population due to bizarre behavior. She is here on 2 different matters. The first is allegations of new charges. Oh, excuse me, the first is a bench warrant issued by the Superior Court when she failed to appear at a status conference in an existing mixed felony misdemeanor case. In that existing case, she has a lawyer already. Her next court hearing in that case will be a post-warrant status conference, February 26th at 8:30. She has a $500 bond on that existing case. The second matter she's here on is allegations of new charges. Those allegations are 2 counts of aggravated assault on a first responder, both Class 4 felonies, 1 count of resisting arrest, a Class 6 felony. I have found probable cause to support the new allegations and appointed a lawyer to defend her. Her next hearings will be a status conference February 26th and then a preliminary hearing the 28th, both at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. Because those new allegations are felony offenses alleged to have been committed while she was on pretrial release in that existing felony case, she is not eligible for release on bond. She will be held in custody without bail, at least until an evidentiary hearing is held. That hearing will take place February 27th at 1:30. Number 22 on the calendar, Francisco Rios, date of birth 11/19/86, is not in the courtroom because he was unable to function in general population due to bizarre behavior. He is here on allegations of new charges. Those allegations are 1 count of theft of a means of transportation, 1 count of theft, both Class 3 felonies, and 1 count of driving on a suspended license, a Class 1 misdemeanor. I have found probable cause to support those allegations and appointed a lawyer to defend him. His next court hearings will be a status conference February 26th and then a preliminary hearing the 28th, both at 8:30 downtown. On those allegations, he has a $15,000 secured appearance bond. Number 6 on the calendar, Jeremy Earnshaw, date of birth 3/17/82, is not in the courtroom because he was unable to function in general population. He is here on 4 different matters. The first is allegations of new charges. Those allegations are 1 count of dangerous drug possession, a Class 4 felony, and 1 count of drug paraphernalia possession, a Class 6 felony. I found probable cause to support those new allegations and appointed a lawyer to defend him. His next court hearings will be a status conference February 26th and then a preliminary hearing the 28th, both at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. On those new allegations, he has a $500 secured appearance bond. The other 3 matters he's here on are all probation violation warrants. In all 3 cases, petitions to revoke allege he's violated terms 3, 4, 5, and 15. I've appointed a lawyer for him in all 3 cases. His next court hearing in each of those will be a revocation arraignment February 27th at 8:30. On each of those 3 probation cases, he has a $100 secured appearance bond, making his total bond for all 4 matters $800, all secured appearance. Last on the calendar, Nieves Mejia Canseco, date of birth 8/5/79, is not in the courtroom because she poses a danger to herself. She is here on allegations of new charges. Those allegations are 1 count of dangerous drug possession, a Class 4 felony, 1 count of drug paraphernalia possession, a Class 6 felony, and 1 count of resisting arrest, a Class 1 misdemeanor. I have found probable cause to support the paraphernalia and resisting arrest allegations. I did not find probable cause to support the dangerous drug allegation. I've appointed a lawyer to defend her. Her next court hearings will be a status conference March 6th and a preliminary hearing March 10th, both at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. And I am releasing her on her own recognizance. If anything changes after I visit these individuals' cell site, I will come back in and update this recording. Otherwise, this court will stand in recess until 11 a.m.